Pete Cohen is here, which means to me a lot of things. He's my good friend. It's good to have him out here, but it also means it's time for the pole saw.
Yes.
You know how much I love these. My affinity for the pole saw is amazing because I love the fact that, you know what, when you got branches or things hanging down there, you don't have to call somebody to come out and charge you 150, 200,
right.
300 bucks to do it. And not only that, it's the perfect size for home use. I don't need a chainsaw this big. I'm not trying to cut down the forest. I want to take care of the limbs and branches and things that have maybe gotten in a funky position over the wintertime from snow and ice, and that's what this pole saw does. Here's the beauty of it. Notice what is missing from here, okay? You don't need any gasoline. You don't have to worry about any fumes. There's no pull starting. Plug it in. Give the trigger a squeeze, and you are using a saw.
Exactly. So easy start. Definitely no gas, no oil, no fumes. The noise is nowhere near what you would have with a traditional chainsaw. But more importantly, those can be intimidating. You may have just avoided those gas-powered chainsaws because they're difficult, they're heavy. And this is a pole saw, which I think for everyone at home is going to be a lot more versatile. You're going to be using it a lot more often because it gets those jobs done. And guys, right, this is the time that you could be thinking about it. You've had all the winter snow, and you've seen those branches. They're getting too close to the windows of the house, the roof, or getting close to the cars in the driveway. This is going to allow you to do that work yourself. There it is. Here's what's important about this. You plug it in. You've got that 8-inch bar. That's the area that the chain goes around. And that 8-inch bar means that you could be doing branches at about 7 to 8 inches in diameter. So we're talking about some pretty big branches. But here, what about all the branches that have fallen from the storms? They're on the ground right now. This pole saw is going to allow you to do that, to reach all those branches, cut them up, use them for firewood, or just put them to the street to be hauled away. This gives you over, I would say, about a 15 to a 16-foot reach, because here's what you have. Telescoping on both sides, so I can make this 9 feet long, and then my reach, I'm 6 feet tall, so I'm holding it here, so hey, you got about 15 feet there, where you can really get the kind of reach that you want with this. So you're getting all those branches. Here's something unique to the Earthwise, which I think is so great. There's that 8-inch bar and chain that we're talking about. It's got the automatic oiler system, so all you have to do is put the oil in there. It's gonna automatically oil that chain, which is great. But check this out. I can unscrew this and I can rotate that head a little bit. So now this allows me when I reach up overhead, you can easily cut those limbs.
Gives you a little leverage when you're trying to cut down through the limbs.
Let me put that down. What I think everybody wants to see is the kind of power that you're going to get when you plug this in. Because I think traditionally you think, oh, it's electric. Am I really going to get the kind of power that I need? You know what you're going to get? You're going to get exactly the type of power, no more and no less, that you need to do those jobs around the house. Now, I have it shortened up a little bit because I'm just going to show you right here. Safety, certainly involved right here. You've got to press this button and then the trigger to fire that up, and then when I let go. But if I try to go right back to the trigger, it won't go until I hit that safety button first. Hit that, pull the trigger, and we're set to go. So here we go. Let's see what that 8-inch bar and chain can do. I'm just going to rest it over that limb and let that saw do the work. Look at that. Right through that wood. We're at about just maybe a 2-inch diameter right there, but you can see it does all the work for you. Typically, when you're holding this up overhead, once that it weighs about 9 pounds, just over 9 pounds, the entire unit. But I put that over the branch. Just the weight of that saw is just going to go slowly right through that, but you're in control. Now, to adjust it, to make it perfectly balanced for you, all you have to do is loosen it right here, and I can extend that further, tighten it up, and you can adjust it and customize it so it's perfect for whatever job you're doing.
Here's what we know about it. We know that you're not all professional chainsaw people out there, right? I've used a regular chainsaw. I went up a couple of years ago to help a friend out who a tree had fallen on their shed, and we had to take the tree down. And you know, using a traditional chainsaw, it's a lot of work. It's very heavy. It's kind of dangerous work. And we were up on ladders and all that stuff. The nice thing about a pole saw, the pole saws that we have, is you will never have to get on a ladder. In fact, I will tell you right now, if you have to get on a ladder, call a professional. That's always my thing. You don't need to get on a ladder if you don't have to. With these, you got about 12, 13, 14, 15 foot. Pete and I are both 6 feet, so we can get way up there, and you can reach those branches that have maybe gotten sort of, heavy from the snow and from the ice and from storms. All you do is you extend it out. You plug it in with your extension cord, and you can reach all those areas, even if it's just pruning down old branches or cleaning up your property, or, as we said, taking care of limbs and branches, making firewood and kindling and things like that. It makes it so much easier, even pruning your trees. But here's the thing. You are now in control. You don't have to pay somebody else to do it. I had a guy that came out to my house a couple of days ago and said $30 a tree. That's what he was going to charge me, $30 a tree. I can reach all those trees with this pole saw. I don't need to hire somebody else. I don't have to worry about gasoline. Not only that, but this company, Earthwise, the company is also an earth-friendly, an eco-friendly company. We're not putting any fumes out into the air. We're not using any petroleum products. You put a little bit of oil. There's a little hole. In fact, I'll show you that really quickly. Right here, there's a little hole. Where is it? It's on the other side. Right on the end, there's a little valve right here. You open this up and you put a little oil inside there. This is a little valve that opens up just like that. Put the oil in, and all that does is it greases the chain as you go, which you need a little bit of oil on there to reduce the friction when you're cutting stuff. That's the only thing you have to do, and you only have to do that probably about once a year.
And it does it automatically, and there's a little window there so you can see when it does run out of oil right there. But that'll happen automatically. But I think what you said about this is a job around the house where you may look at those trees and you're thinking, well, that's just something that I can't do. So you automatically call someone and they come out and you have to pay to have that job done. But if you have the right tool, something that's simple, it's easy to use, it's lightweight, you can handle it, then you can get those jobs done. I think you notice those branches that are getting too close in so many areas. You want to trim them back, and they're right above your head. But when you have something like this pole saw, you can do it. It's not too far away, because with this reach of 9 foot, you're going to be able to really do a tremendous job at taking care of those branches. This is the one with that articulating head, so you can really make it even easier to reach those branches up ahead and just tighten that up like that, and you can do this. So let me demonstrate that power once again. Just attach it to your extension cord. You know, I can make this any length I want. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit here, because I am just going to be using this for the branch right here. Same thing, if you're using it for branches that are already fallen from the storms over the winter, it's perfect to cut those up. Remember, all I'm doing is firing that up and letting that bar and chain do the work. It makes it so simple to cut through the branches. You know, it's funny, even as I'm doing this, you can see I've got a comfortable handle right here. All along here, it's got that extra padding on there, so when you're gripping that, it makes it super easy to use. That's why this chainsaw, all of our chainsaws have been the most popular outdoor item that we've done here at HSN. And it's because people are realizing that this is a job with this tool that you can do at home. And previously, it was impossible. Grab that, Big Daddy, right there.
Let's take a look. This is,
here's the reason you never did those jobs
smaller
before.
than the one that I've used. They get really, these things can get huge, but this is a medium-sized chainsaw. Now, what you've got to deal with this one is, first of all, it has a priming pump. You have to pump this up to prime it up. You obviously have to put fuel in here. You have to put, and by the way, when you're using a chainsaw, you also have to put a mix of fuel and also
and the oil. Sure.
The 2-cycle oil has to go inside here. You have to pull. You have to pull start this thing at the same time.
Forget it.
Not only that, it's heavy. The average person, and whether you're a woman or a senior, you're not going to be able to handle this chainsaw. It's very, very difficult. If you have to use it over your head, I mean, this is a heavy-duty item.
That's an absolute no, using it over your head. Guy, you know what I find most of all is that they are so intimidating. When you start that up and you hear the noise and smell the fumes, they're intimidating. This is completely different. What I love about this is, when you let go of the trigger, it completely stops, and it's off. You have it plugged in. It can't restart until I hit that safety switch. It's light enough for anyone to handle. We've had so many great reviews where people are talking about that they can finally take care of these jobs because they have this saw. And remember, this is a pole saw, but you're going to be able to do those jobs where the branches are already on the ground. You're going to be able to trim low-hanging branches, higher branches. You are going to take care of so much with this pole saw. And here's the thing. When we look at that bar and chain on that gas-powered unit, what you're looking at, this is the same Oregon chain that you find on those more expensive units. You've got that 8-inch bar, which really gives you enough. You don't need that. I mean, if you're going to be chopping down trees like a lumberjack that are 24 inches around, maybe you need that. But that's not what we're doing in our home. What we're doing in our home is pruning those branches, taking down the trees that are getting too close to the roof, that are getting too close to the car, that could do damage to the windows on our house. This is going to allow you to do that.
And there's no effort. If you watch that footage right there, you simply let it sit on it. The weight of the actual chainsaw will do most of the work. That's why I encourage our ladies out there. You can do, if you live alone, maybe your husband has passed, or you're by yourself, and you want to be empowered to do it yourself, you can do this. And look at how clean the cuts are. Imagine trying to do that by hand. I mean, Peter, be out there all day trying to saw that thing by hand.
It makes it so easy to do. That's what you're going to notice most of all. Now, you can do larger pieces. You can do smaller ones.
Sure.
This with that full 8 inches, and I can show you that. When you see that we've got an 8-inch bar on here, you can see how much more room we have. So if we increase that diameter of that branch, you're going to be able to handle it.
You will, and I'm telling you, you will love having this. This one of those things that pays for itself probably the first time you use it, because I know I also had a guy come out and do some trimming in my other tree. It was $300 to do all these low-lying branches. He was out there for about an hour. I'm like, hey, that's what it costs to do a few trees in your house. You can do it yourself. You can save a fortune. And again, there's none of the hassle that you associate with this chainsaw, with having to put gas in it, having to put oil in it, having to prime it. In fact, there's a window on the back of this, and it's got about 9 different little pictures of how you're supposed to get this thing started, where you can take the pole saw we have, plug it in, and go to work. Remember, all you do, you put a little lubricating oil in that little valve right above the thumb there. That goes in there, and you're good to go for the year. You really don't have to add much more, and that just lubricates the chain to keep it running smoothly. See, it runs, it's very hot, and it has a tendency to stick. So when you put the oil on there, it runs perfectly. Earthwise is a great company. They're all about the environment and trying, not only that, this thing is much more quiet than, have you ever heard a regular chainsaw going? You can hear that thing from 2 miles away.
Oh, yeah.
This one you can still do, and your neighbors aren't going to freak out. In fact, you know what will happen is your neighbors will come over. They'll be like, hey, when you're done, would you mind letting me borrow that? People love to use these things. In fact, yesterday I was doing my run around the neighborhood, and I saw there were landscapers all over. Every landscaper had one of these in their truck, but the powered kind with the gas and all the rest of the stuff.
Exactly.
And that's a nightmare. You don't want to deal with that. With yours, not only is it easy to use, but also it takes up very little space. You can mount it up on the wall on a couple of hooks, and it's not going to smell. Another thing that a lot of these power tools do, they leak fumes. Gasoline, and the fumes go everywhere.
No, exactly. This is 9 pounds. The whole thing is 9 pounds. Right now I have it closed up, but you can just use this to make it, longer and more balanced for you. I've put a larger piece of wood on there. I wanted you to see that, how easy this is to use. Where I'm just going to lay it on top of that wood and just let it go right through there. I don't have to do anything, but the weight of that saw goes right through.
Look at how clean that is. Do it again, Pete.
And you can see that if I had to go larger diameter, just a few seconds, and I can go through that. That automatic oiling system does the job for you. I mean, that's the same Oregon chain that you're going to get on big, expensive gas-powered units. This is going to give you the proper tool to do so many jobs.
And listen, 4 Flex is for a limited time. We normally do this on 3 payments. It's on 4 payments today. And we'll ship it out to your house for free. This is one of those ones, try it out. You know what? Once you get your hands on this, you're going to love it. And I know a lot of you out there think I can't do a chainsaw. You're wrong. This is a very easy...